Hi everyone, it's Therese, and today we're speaking about identifying types of passages in IELTS reading. There are 4 types of IELTS passages: discursive, descriptive, factual, and narrative. But today I'd like to focus specifically on the 3 top ones: discursive, descriptive, and factual, because these are the most common that come up. And if you are better aware of the passage, then it will be easier for you to answer the questions. So a discursive passage is an argumentative text. The writer may provide a reasoned argument with examples, quotes, and references. You can identify it by noting the writer's opinion or ideas with the words believe, think, consider. This will also help you to identify the writer's opinion, which is a question that often comes up for a discursive text. You may notice also a reference to statements and quotations marked by quotation marks, the use of the words highlighted, stated, suggested, and also the use of linkers like firstly, moreover. For instance, that way the writer wants to present his argument. Here's an example of a paragraph from a discursive passage. In Aesop's fable, The Crow and the Pitcher, a thirsty crow uses stones to raise the level of water in a jug to quench its thirst. A recent study showed that rooks, birds belonging to the corvid or crow family, are in fact able to solve complex problems using tools and can easily master the same technique used in the story. Christopher Bird of the University of Cambridge, who led the study, highlighted the importance of the findings, stating, "Corvids are remarkably intelligent and in many ways rival the great apes in their physical intelligence and ability to solve problems." So you can see that the words highlighted and stating are used, and there is a quote from a specific person. So this is the beginning of a discursive passage where the writer will argue that rooks, a type of corvid bird, are able to solve problems using tools. A descriptive passage is quite different. It's a text that describes something. You will identify it by noticing the description of a place, person, object, animal, or event. A lot of descriptive language using adjectives and adverbs to portray events or places, and maybe examples or stories to highlight the object of description. So it's not an argument, it's more of a descriptive text. A factual text is, as it sounds, it's a text full of facts, so it's about real events. You can identify it by specific information about a place, event, object, or person, geographical or scientific facts, details with numbers and figures, dates, times, and locations, and also instructions or bullet points. Let's take a look at this text. The title of the text is Calisthenics. So don't worry about all the technical language here. Just take a quick look at it and see if you can guess what type of passage this is. So you see a description of the word calisthenics, the world's oldest form of resistance training. And then in the first paragraph, there's a little story from the very first cavemen to scale a tree or hang from a cliff face to the mighty armies of the Greco-Roman empires and the gymnasiums of modern American high schools. Calisthenics has endured and thrived because of its simplicity and utility. And as you continue in the passage, you can see there's a reference to Herodotus and to the Greek Empire. So this is certainly not a discursive passage, and it's not factual either. This is just information, a descriptive text using references to history. And it's a lot of stories, a lot of descriptive language, and even quotes from history. Now let's take a look at this next passage, emergency procedures. This is from the general IELTS exam. There's a procedure for evacuation and a list of points in numerical order. I think you can guess what this is. It's not discursive and certainly not descriptive. It's a factual text because it's very clearly outlined with specific instructions and details. Let's take a look at the next one. The title is Beneficial Work Practices for the Keyboard Operator, and you have a list of instructions for an employee. I think you've guessed it. It is a factual text also, because you have specific information. This is an employee manual, and this type of text often comes up in the general IELTS reading, but you won't see something like that in academic. Now, this is our final text. Take a look at the passage and try to guess what type of text it is. So 1, we live in an era where it is difficult to miss fast and junk food and the rise in teenage obesity and related health issues due to it. During teenage years, weight gain is normal, but when it goes beyond control, the person becomes obese. Our body requires energy to function, which is derived from the food we eat. But when the intake of food becomes more than the amount that the body requires, the excess energy is stored as fat. So it appears that this is factual, but if you continue reading the text, you'll see that the writer is presenting an argument. He uses cohesive devices like besides these and along with in order to present his argument. So this is what we call a discursive text. And you can be expected in the questions to be asked about the writer's opinion, or maybe the examples that he gives, and you need to be able to understand his logical thinking here. So final tips: identify the types of questions and type of passage so you can answer the questions faster. Remember, you only have 60 minutes, so dedicate 15 minutes to passage 1, 20 minutes to passage 2, and 25 minutes to passage 3. Because the passages get more difficult as you go along. So you should definitely give less time to the easier passages. And the final tip, get used to difficult passages. Get used to scientific or medical or just more complex texts. Here I've written the link for the practice test for reading from British Council. So use that link to log in, open up some practice tests and get reading. Thanks for watching. Good luck in IELTS reading. See you in our next video. Bye.